Good evening, YouTubers. The sun's finally gone down,
Oh, yeah.
and it's time for our evening chat. What have you been up to today? You're talking to Yankee Wally all day.
I can't say. It's too big. It's too big. I can't say. And Wally's got special friends who would be very angry if I let the cat out of the bag, because those kind of people, they want the story. They want the story fresh. But it takes time, these things. Did you guys know, just out of interest, I was reading, I think it was in Ken Wharf's book, and I can't remember which of the ladies I sent Ken Wharf's book to, but whichever one of you's got it, have a look, and I'm pretty certain it was in his book, well, I've definitely read it somewhere, that the Squidgy Gate tapes of Diana talking to her friend, the press knew about them for about 5 or 6 years. And the Camilla Gate, you know, tampon and all that, I'm not going to... It's terrible, really, that Diana and Charles were having each other's private conversations recorded, but it was a messy divorce, wasn't it? But the Camilla Gate tapes, I think they had for about 8 years, right? And they sat on them, Fleet Street, and they sat on them, and it wasn't because they didn't have the legal ability to release them. It just wasn't, there wasn't enough blood in the water at that stage, and it's all about timing with Fleet Street. In fact, the Times, right, the Times are particularly lethal and famed for what they do is when they get a juicy story, they tend to release a little tiny bit of it, and they give the subject, the victim of their actions, they give them a chance to lie and say, no, no, no. And the victim usually says to the Times, is that all you've got? And they get their lawyers to ground. They go, yeah, that's all we've got. No, only that. So the victim goes, ha, well, they don't know the rest. And they give it loads of chat. And then the Times go, you know, when we said we only had that, we did actually have a little bit more. So they release a little bit more of the story, and they let the victim get it. And they keep doing it until they come out with the final sledgehammer. And it can take years, but I know. And the Times were the ones that broke the bullying story with Valentine. So, and the Fleet Street, people think that newspapers are knee-jerk reactors, that they're quick. It's all quick. It's not. It's not. They can sit on stuff for a long time, because they're running a business. They want maximum marketing. They want maximum effect. Even Princess Diana said they're utterly lethal because they build you up and up and up and up and up only to smash you down. So just bear that in mind when it's frustrating moments and you think, you know, when is this woman going to get her comeuppance? It's coming. It's coming. It's inevitable. As my father would say, that was one of his favourite words. It's inevitable.
Inevitable.
Not inimitable, inevitable.
You're inimitable with your inimitable style.
Yeah, it was one of my horrible ex-school teachers that said that. Awful woman. Never liked
But she must have...
I think she had a drink problem.
She
During
must have
working
relayed
hours.
that to the television company. Who said Mont's inimitable
She was quoted
style.
directly. She was quoted directly. And I mean, she was only my form mistress. She was my form mistress and Natascha McElhone. Natascha McElhone, who's going to star in the next season of The Crown. I'm really looking forward to seeing Tasha in that. Anyone who's a Designated Survivor fan, Natasha played the First Lady. I think her character was called Alex. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. And she's had all her hair cut off and bleached blonde. And I think she's had that done for The Crown. And
I
I've
thought
seen her
she was blonde anyway.
No.
I remember from Ronin, the Irish one.
No.
The Irish one from Ronin.
No, Tasha was never blonde. She was what you call blonde, like a cross between brown and blonde. Always very, very long hair. She was very protective of her long hair. But I've seen her, she's in a couple of other things, and she's had it all cut short, and I don't think it suits her as well, because the way she was in Ronin and Designated Survivor, and she was in that fairy story thing that my daughter absolutely loved, Moonstone something, Moonacre, I think it's called.
The only one I've
she
seen
looked exactly like at school. You know, she has not
I've only
changed.
seen her in Ronin. She was the blonde Irish woman. Robert De Niro, wasn't it? And the other guy, the French guy with all the guns. What's he called? Leon.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Seriously good film.
I'm very proud of her. I think I mentioned before in a video that Mr. Liddell, our maths teacher, one day just asked us all what we wanted to be when we grew up. And everyone came out with sensible stuff. I think my mate Angela said she wanted to be a chemist or something like that. Another girl said she wanted to be an air hostess, and they all really looked down their nose at that. I can't remember her name, but I thought, what a cool idea, travel the world. And they all went, oh, an air hostess, And
Nothing wrong with that.
I said I wanted to be a safecracker. And Mr. Liddell just went, oh, that's typical of you, Mont, to come out with something like that. And Natasha was very specific. She said, I want to be a Hollywood actress and I want to star in a film with
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro and or Anthony Hopkins. And she did both. She did Picasso with Anthony Hopkins and she did Ronin with Robert De Niro. So I'm really proud of her because everyone in the class laughed at her when she said that, except for me. I was awestruck. I just thought, wow, what a brilliant thing to say.
I think her parents were rich.
They were. They lived on Millionaires Row, but...
It might have helped somewhat.
Well, I think what really helped is that she's stunningly gorgeous and beautiful, and she was the most beautiful girl in school. I'm sorry to any of my other ex-classmates at St Mary's Hall, but if you're watching, you've got to admit, Tasha was gorgeous. She was absolutely... Until this Australian girl called Karen turned up, and she was really knocked down. And Tasha was quite put out, actually. She was quite... she'd been knocked off her throne. A little bit by Karen.
Karen from Australia?
Karen Slater from Australia, yeah.
Right.
I think there are people sitting all over your Lexus, Graham.
No.
Yes.
Bastards.
They're very interested in it.
By the way, if you want to buy a 1990 Lexus LS400, original 1990, which was the first year of production that Lexus did, it's 30 years old and it's got 150,000 miles on it. It's a runner. I've had it for years.
Nice try,
We've had it
Graham.
for years.
Nice
So PM me if you want to buy it. If you want a classic car, needs a bit of TLC, but
I love that Lexus. Don't sell it, Graham.
it works. Honestly,
Don't sell it.
Boom! It's on the button. It works.
It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely.
The sun has taken off the lacquer for sure.
But that's all it needs is relacquering. Those cars,
But
they are just they're bulletproof.
We put a
aren't they?
battery on it. It's been sat up for years because we haven't used it. 'Cause it's a V8 4-litre for goodness sake,
Well, the
And
thing is here,
right-hand drive.
we're very much a walking community. The queue to get in and out of Jib with a car is unbelievable, and then you've got the border police and the Guardia Civil
Yeah.
and searches and stuff. And then when you get the car into Jib, there's nowhere to bloody park, is there?
No.
And even if there is,
Sam Matthews has got his Honda, his vintage Honda from the 1990s or something like that. Right, his dad bought it for him and he's like, whoa, great. Anyway, he took it
he
out,
crashed it the other week, didn't he?
he bounced off a wall, put a few scratches down the side. He blamed the tyres, faulty tyres, okay?
As 18-year-olds blame tyres.
Yeah, I said, so you weren't going around the bend a bit. Anyway, last night he sat up all night looking for a parking space because he was parked on a double yellow line. There's nowhere to park a fucking car in Gibraltar.
No, and even when you do find somewhere to park, most people in Jib have little scooters and mopeds, and they actually pick each other's motorbikes up to make space for another parking space, and then sometimes they knock them over and they go down like dominoes, and Graham's Lexus has had a couple of nasty dents on it from...
The odd
So your
thing.
car gets damaged if you go into Jib. There's nowhere to park, and then you've got a queue for hours to get back out, and it's literally just there. We walk. We walk.
But they've built a new multi-storey car park near the King's Bastion. It's above the new bus terminal, right? And it's a multi-storey car park, and you can buy private spaces in the multi-storey park to park your car. And the last one I saw, which was a few years ago now, so it's probably gone up since then, you can buy a parking space, a private parking space, in the multi-storey car park. 46 grand!
No.
Seriously, 46 grand. The fuck, mate, my car, I only paid 200 quid for my car. Who the fuck's going to pay 46? What a cunt.
46
Unless you
grand.
bought a Ferrari, there's no way you're going to buy a fucking... And even then you wouldn't want to put it in a multi-storey, would you? You'd want to put it in its own room. There's a guy bought a shop in Ocean Village, and he parks his Ferraris in the shop.
Well,
and closes the doors, and it's not really a shop selling Ferraris. I reckon it's just a private garage because he doesn't want it to get him scratched.
Bollocks! He's selling Ferraris.
Who's going to buy a Ferrari in Ocean Village?
That's what Tim said. He said if you're going to buy a Ferrari, you'd do your research all over the world and you'd have it shipped. It's not like you go to... And it's a corner shop. It's on a corner. Oh, just pop into the corner shop for a fucking Ferrari. I'm not keen on them. No offence to anyone out there who's got an older...
It used to be CCS.
That's right, yeah.
The mobile phone shop.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot's changed, doesn't it, since we've been in?
Yeah.
There's a lot that doesn't change, and there's a lot that does change in Jib, isn't there? Yeah.
There's those that come in from outside and try and push in,
Yeah.
but they don't last.
No. Never works out for them, does it really? In fact, your brother said, how'd you find a small fortune in Spain and Gibraltar? Bring a big one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You've got to be very savvy and you've got to know the lay of the land.
So what else has happened today? What's the news for today?
I did more house cleaning. I did some laundry. I got in a jacuzzi.
Karen's back.
Oh, is she?
Mm.
Now she did. Our mate Karen. She works at. Hello, Karen, because I know some of our work colleagues follow us on YouTube. Karen, hello, you old pisshead. How you doing? She's worse than me. I said to her, you get so pissed, you're gonna fall over and break your hip one day. And lo and behold, guess what happened about a month ago? But the Spanish hospital, they fixed her up. She was up and about the next day. It's incredible, and she's gone back to work now. What was that? Was that a
It's the
flash?
light. No, it's the solar light.
Oh, right.
Her legs are so fit. I mean, I've always
She's
said to her,
very
"You're so
tiny.
thin, Karen. You know, I'll buy you a meat pie if you'll eat it. You know, one of these."
She's very, very thin.
But
Bless
she looks
her.
thinner than ever. The legs.
Does she?
Mm.
Well, it's because she hasn't been walking, so
Yeah,
the
I thought
muscle's
wastage or
wasted.
something. And she's taking it easy. And Tim said, "Look, don't push yourself. Just sit down when you
Yeah.
need to sit down.
Oh, that's
Take it
nice
easy."
of him.
And she's been fine. She's got loads of people this week.
He's a nice boss, actually, Tim. He's a very nice boss. They both are. Both of them.
Yeah. Well, we all have our moments, don't we?
Yeah. I've had plenty of my moments.
Mm.
I'm going to go to bed early tonight,
And
Graham.
you got your watch sorted out.
Yes, thank you, Graham. And no, I'm not cutting your hair. And on that note, I think it's time for bed. I'm tired.
Be dark soon. I'm going to finish my pinchitos and my beer. Now I'll
Will we
bid you.
We'll have to lock the doors. That's when the FBI come in the dark.
I'll break their
And
way.
police officers in white banana patterns.
I'll break their way in. I shall bid you good night, and may your God go with you.